All right, so I'm actually back with another video. Hopefully I don't fumble on my words, but here we go. Round two, fight. Let me step into the frame. Hey, how's everyone going? This is Kyle again. So the last time I made a video, I was speaking about how I was in my own head and what stopped me from making a video. But I'm just instantly rolling to the second one while I'm like hot like this and I'm ready to speak. And I feel like I got good eye contact with the camera. So I want to do this. So I got a little, I don't know if you can see right here, but I do have some Post-its and things. So the first one I wrote was the first video I did. I ain't trying to bite nobody style. We covered that one. But the second one, I do want to talk about this because this is something that, yeah, it's kind of funny to me, but it's how I've envisioned my career and how like I would be. So I said, this is not a dig on introverts, but I always thought that being one meant that you were one hell of an artist. And I say that because if you watch anime or any kind of sports kind of show, anime, let's take anime for example, right? Like any of the basketball kind of shows, or even the ones where, I don't know, you just battling it out, whatever. You just take a character, but there's always one hot-headed guy with red hair. He's always in the trope, right? And he has great spirit and he does have power, but he's a little rough around the edges. He might get accepted into the prestigious academy, but people don't want them there. And then there's always the introvert guy, the one that doesn't want to be bothered, but he's the strongest one. His silence says it all, right? And they will butt heads. And I knew I was the red-headed kind of character, rough around the edges, being in spaces where maybe I felt like I didn't fit, but I did have the chops I wanted to prove myself. And the introverts, the introverted designers, the ones who are so quiet and meticulous with their craft, could also do the same when they explain their artwork. Right? So they didn't make a big scene, they weren't big personalities, but they would always end up producing some like awesome ass work. Like out of the blue. Be like, where'd you even conjure that up from? And you know, me, I'm from Pomona, California. I grew up around gangs and riots, fights, and hip hop music, house music. I went to the clubs, I battle it out. I do all these things and I bring that into I wasn't bringing that into my design, but that was me. And I was sitting there designing. And I used to think, man, I don't know if this extroverted thing is really working out for me. I should just be an introvert. Because then I'd be such an artist and I'd be able to really focus on that one thing. And yeah, that's it. I think that's what I was looking for. I was looking for focus. And I felt like introverts are focused. And if you're an introvert, you're probably gonna be like, no, we're not. But I felt that, like, at least in the office, kept to themselves, designing. I'm sitting there cracking jokes, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm explaining my work with such gust. Introverts want to be like extroverts. And maybe sometimes extroverts want to be like introverts, right? We want to be narrowed down on one discipline. And as a multi-creative, someone who does photography, design, and dance, it was tough for me to try to say like, I'm only gonna be this one thing and I'm gonna be super good at it. I'm not gonna deviate from that. So anyway, I used to tell my friends that like, oh man, introvert artists, they could just sit up in their little space and just create magic. And then I got to a point where I was like, that's great for them, but that won't work out for me. I actually don't like quiet people. It actually really bothers me. My personality is a little quirky. It's boisterous. It's very kind of in your face. I'm competitive by nature. So when I do design something, I will say this shit is good. You know, I like my work. I will explain why it works too. And I'll also clap back if you have non-constructive criticism. So, you know, being an extrovert is cool. We can still be artistic. We can still be crafted strongly in what we do, right? And we can have the personality, right? It doesn't mean that like we won't have the personality to back it up. I do, right? And I had to accept that kind of part. I know it sounds weird. Like, why are you talking about, why do you want to be an introvert? But I honestly felt like if I was an introvert, I might have gotten more opportunities to work in some of the big branding firms. I never got a chance to get hired by them. I would interview with them like 3 times. And each time my personality came through and they would be like, I think you're gonna be bored here. Or they would say, you're a lone wolf. And even today, my friends might still say like, oh, Kyle's personality is kind of out there. I'm a normal guy, don't worry, but I crack jokes and I've made opportunities for myself when they weren't given, right? Or even offered. I've tried to carve a path. And I've only been able to do that because I'm such an extroverted person. And maybe having that kind of personality ended up excluding me from some things. I'm not sour about it. Like, at this point now, I've been working in my own business as a graphic designer for over 10 years. I've been able to support my oldest daughter and my youngest daughter and, so basically take care of all the different needs. And you need to have a certain grit to be able to do this too. So I like the extroverted part of me. My wife is an introvert. And I ain't gonna lie, when she gets into something, she does knock it out of the park. And I'm like, damn it, that was good. Where's your process? You weren't even talking about it. I'm sitting there like an open book telling her all these different processes and different things. But there are traits that she says that she admires in me, and there are traits that I also admire in her. So I want to bridge them together. So when I say I want to be introvert, it's me. I'm really going to go within now and craft a message that's going to be strong for my clients, and also craft a perception and calm my inner turmoil when I'm creating or photographing or dancing. Being able to look within is going to give me focus, I believe. And then I will extrovertly show that out into the world, right? So, hey, if this didn't make any sense to you, please do not let me know. I don't even want to hear it. But if you did get like a little bit of laugh, a little bit of smile, just comment down below. Maybe you have your thoughts on being an introvert or an extrovert. And if you really like it, subscribe, all right? Be notified when I have new videos. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little talk. Yeah, that's all I got to say. I will catch you next time. Peace.